Okay, in this video, you're about to meet Howard Sanford, founder of Stealth Controls, with over 37 years in HVAC and refrigeration. Now, Howard has worked with major clients like Walmart, 7-Eleven and Target over the years, but wasn't able to provide controls and BMS as part of their service. Now, since working with us, Howard's gone from simply fixing what's inside the panels to designing complete control systems, and now with the knowledge and confidence to bring everything in-house, building out a full controls division within his business. So him and his team are now able to take on 125k projects that they were previously having to say no to, and also they're now branching into home automation, taking on a 14 million high-end smart home project. So let's dive into the conversation, how Howard, a seasoned HVAC and refrigeration business owner, turned his business into a controls, BMS and home automation growth engine.
How you doing, Chris?
Howard, I'm good, my friend. It's been a while since we've caught up. How are you?
Oh, brother, I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying the courses.
Can I just ask you to introduce yourself, Howard? Like who you are, what you do, what the business does.
Oh, absolutely. Um, well, name's Howard Sanford, as you know. I got started in the industry when it's more than 37 years, actually, when I was 10, because I got two uncles that are master electricians. So I was wiring homes at the age of 10. And so it was a no-brainer of what I wanted to do. So when I graduated high school, I started out as a electrical apprentice, and then I started looking at HVAC because it was, I love complexity, and all of the trades are just compounded into one. So I got into that and got licensed in HVAC and refrigeration, and I started, you know, studying controls and the pressure temperature relationships. I wanted to master the basics. Everyone is always interested in the advanced studies of anything, but I said, if I can master the basics, then I can fix anything, right?
First
So,
principles.
oh yeah, yeah. So I got my license I got my journeyman license at the age of 23. I'm 55, by the way. And then I stayed with that company. I've worked at various companies, but I went fully on my own at the age of 24. And I did that with three kids. And we were living in an apartment, and I was using egg crates as my desk.
Right.
And so we grew the business from there. And it's been a good ride ever since. It so I've evolved the business to the point where we take care of major corporations now. I have contracts with Walmart. We take care of their refrigeration controls and their systems. We do a ton of 7-Elevens. We do Targets. Um, we specialize we focus our niche in actually customer service, right? So we have gotten to the point where um, we're known for uniqueness. So when electricians can't figure something out, they give me a call. So when I came across your course, I was like, wow, this guy I can use this and go even deeper, where I can my goal is to open up a complete controls department, because like I said, it's HVAC, and it goes hand in hand, because we do
Yeah.
industrial boilers and commercial refrigeration and commercial boilers and heating systems. So my goal is once I perfect the teaching that you're teaching, my plan is to open up a whole nother controls division.
Oh, brilliant, man. That's awesome. So your business is Stealth Controls, right? But it's focusing primarily, well, it's focusing on HVAC, whether that's like commercial or industrial, but you're also moving into like building control or doing building control, building management, building energy management. Is that
Oh,
right,
absolutely.
Howard?
Yeah, we do building automation, and I never got into the programming part, but now, I've always fixed controls inside of control panels. Now I'm actually designing control panels, thanks to you. And I have no shame in my game with all the experience that I said, hey, I can really do something with this, man. I love the classes, man. I find myself before I even move on to the next course, I say, let me watch this one more time. And then I take notes. So I have a whole notebook of each section of every subject that you're teaching. And then I took all the schematics and the pictures, printed them out, and put those in a separate folder. So at my
Oh
office,
man.
I got a 6-ring binder that's filling up, right? And that's going to be
Yeah.
my control. I call that the Stealth Controls Bible. And it's
That's
all,
commitment.
yeah. So just so you see it, I mean, the truck is a
Oh
little dirty,
yes.
but
Nicely
this
done,
is
Howard.
me.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Love
That's
it.
me. All right. So I figured I wanted to get, because I'm at United Refrigeration. I got to fix a few units, but I wanted to just, I'm so excited about this call, man. I'm sorry to be doing all of this, but
Oh, you're good.
this is me.
In terms of where you're taking this, so and building out controls department. So are you gonna you're going through the program yourself first? Have you
Yes.
got any of your team members going through it, or is that the plan then to push them
Well, the
through it as
plan is
well?
to get, I have 6 guys that work for me. So the plan is first I want to become fully competent in
Yeah.
what you're teaching and going through the course. And then once I master that, the plan is to bring it to the guys, to the technicians, even my office staff,
Wow.
because
Yeah.
my children run the office. So my
Okay.
2 daughters and my son, they run the back office. And I already hold classes once a week at the shop, and everyone has to attend, not just the technicians, right? So when customers are calling, I want the office staff to be able to answer the phone and they know exactly what the customer is talking about, you know? So, that's, just a very unique service that we offer.
Yeah.
So this is going to be implemented. What I'm learning from you is going to be implementing in the weekly training program.
Based on like the things that come in from into the service desk, like you knowing your clients and your niche and industry, you kind of tailor what you learn from in the program, take those bits that apply here and feed that into your people so they're clued up in the right areas. So you ultimately delivering a better service, and your people even in the back office are talking on the same level, hopefully, as perhaps the engineers that are calling in,
That's
with
correct.
problems.
So the back
Yeah, man.
office may not build panels, but they'll know the theory of what's going on.
Yeah, and they understand the components. If someone says, "Oh, I think this contactor's, no or arced out or whatever," they know what is meant by that.
And, oh, absolutely. I've taken my kids with me on jobs when they were little. So they've been around it. And then at the house, I took the garage and built it into a shop. And I used to make, I'll have to send you a couple of pictures of what we did last summer. But even when they were kids, I was getting like transformers and single pole switches and 4x4 squares. And we were building our own basic, I was teaching them about basic electricity, Ohm's law,
Yeah,
Kirchhoff's law. So
yeah,
they know how to calculate voltage drop at the age of 8. So my kids are very intelligent. And it's all because of what I was doing with them when they were small.
yeah. Train them at a young age.
Yeah.
What just to go back a little bit. What not problem, but what problems were you facing like with the business? Not necessarily problems, but what was it that made you consider joining the program? Like what were you trying to fix specifically, would you say?
Well, I'm really good at refrigeration. And, and of course I know the controls on the rack because you know, the sequence is different. But when I was working in Vegas, there was this guy, and he was so intelligent, and he was really good, not only at refrigeration, but he was a genius at controls, and it just amazed me. So I end up leaving, coming back to Boston, and I seen what was missing here when I started taking on some of the contracts. Like even the big union companies are not fully competent of how the controls work in a rack. So my as strong as I am in the trade, my weakest part was the knowledge about getting fully thorough with controls. I mean, I could get by, I could fix it. Even if I
Like
stay there, I can figure anything out because I got a mechanical mind. But what was missing was the fully competence of the control theory part.
yeah, and in the control theory, like specifically, what were the areas that you you were perhaps lacking a little bit, that you felt there were some gaps that you needed bringing up to speed on?
Um, Programming. Um, to be honest with you, uh, electrical schematics. I mean, I could read them, but I think I took your first subject and it just clicked. I'm like, wow, that's how that works. So I wasn't as strong with the schematics. Now I am, you know, because I've been around it all my life. Because it's different just running a wire to a control panel and then walking away than actually sitting there and designing and engineering out
Yeah.
the entire panel. So that was my weak point, and
Okay.
and it made me feel vulnerable, and I don't like that. I want to
Mm.
be good at what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that a lot, man. It's like there's 80% there or 70% of that way there, but just having not being 99%, it makes us uneasy, especially in like these technical industries. And yeah,
Yes,
I hear this a lot. It's just having that confidence to genuinely sort of know what you're looking at and how the system works. So, like you said in that lovely message that you put in the group about now being able to design systems fully because you understand them, and then build them in the right way because you understand them.
yes,
And it's yeah, it's because I know firsthand for me when I went through this process and it suddenly sort of clicked for me. It's just yeah, it gives you a lot of peace of mind, and confidence going into
yeah,
sites and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. My uncle, he came over to a restaurant I was doing, and I had to build out. You know, well, put it this way: we're looking for control panels for the Ansel system, um, the gas heat, the gas detector. You can buy them already pre-assembled if you want to spend like 7 to 8 grand. So
Yeah.
I said to myself, you know what? I'm taking your course. I'm like, no, I can build this. So my uncle was like, what, you can build this? I said, I can build it. I says, no, we're not going to spend that type of money. We can keep that profit in our pocket and we can do this
Yeah.
ourselves. So I went,
That's what it's about, man. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
carry on.
man,
Yeah.
I went and got the parts. I found this. You may want to look these guys up. I have to shout them out on this video. Delta Magnetic, and they're
Okay.
located in Holbrook, Massachusetts. These
Okay.
guys are maybe about 60, 70, even maybe 75 years old. They they have been building panels for almost 60 years. And the the local electric company subs a lot of stuff out to them. So they said, "Hey, Howard." And I just met these guys when I got into your course. I'm like, it's got to be a place around here where I can get my parts and talk to people who are in the industry. So we clicked right away, me and their partners, and they want to sell me the business for $2 million, right? So I talked to my uncle about it. So right now we have an accountant going through the books, and they kind of held back. They're making about 2.5 million, but they want to sell it for 2 million, but they make about $2.5 million a year just building panels.
Mm.
So I walked in their shop and oh man, I mean, it was like heaven to me. I said, Chris would love this.
I would. I would
So
indeed. I love a good panel.
Delta Magnetic. These guys are,
Okay.
they're like, you know, the OGs of the control world.
Just going back, so you're those what you mentioned in that post, those panels that you're building now, you said you could have bought them for like what was it, 8K or something,
Oh,
like
they run,
built.
this particular panel was like, it was actually, when I priced it, was like $8,100. I built this panel getting the parts from Delta, the enclosure. I got everything, including the labor. It only cost me $1,900.
Yeah. So what's that, like 6 or 7K? Like if you sold it at that price, that's just 6 or 7K profit straight away there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, man, isn't
Yeah, it's beautiful.
it? What was the goal for the business then? Like, if we come back to that first call that we had, what was the goal back then, and is it still the same, or are you pivoting a
It's
little
still
bit
the
now?
same, is to open up a controls division and have that department pulling in. And, you know, I want, you know, my goal is to, when I open up that department, we do about $4 million a year just doing what we're doing. And
Yeah,
I actually think the controls division can do more than the mechanical side because the mechanicals can't run without the controls.
yeah,
And now I was up last night. I got in last night at about 12 o'clock because I work pretty late. I work long hours because I'm still out here with the techs. But now that my techs are starting to evolve, I'm starting to take a step back so I can actually, you know, work on the business instead of working
yeah,
in the business.
yeah,
So that gives me enough time to build this control department, really concentrate on it, where we can start bringing in those revenues of $2 to $3 million a year just in control, because
yeah.
that's the position that I'm in. So I had a call the other day, guy building a $14 million home because we work in those neighborhoods as well. He's building a $14 million home. So he reached out and he says, Howard, I heard you can do radiant heat. And I say, yeah, I can do whatever you want. So he's interested in radiant heat and heating his patio and his driveway. So then he called back and says, you know what? He says, do you do home automation? So I told him, yeah, because I'm fully, I believe in myself. So he says,
It's
okay, sounds
controls.
good.
It's controls, isn't it?
It's
Really?
control.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he says, I want my home fully automated. And I'm like, okay. He says, so let me work on getting you the plans. And I was stoked when I got off the phone. I'm like, oh, this is unbelievable. So, and because he signed the contract for the mechanical system. Now it's like, now I have to put together a proposal for the automation system for his home.
This is exactly it. Like you can go down, HVAC, BMS, home automation, industrial, renewables. Like it just says there's just so much opportunity with the skill set in electrical controls. It's
Oh,
why I love
it's
it, man. It's
beautiful.
just yeah. There's just an abundance of opportunity. Can you remember back to our first call when I was going through the program? And can you were you, and I'm not saying you were, but was there, because this is quite a new concept, right? Online programs, especially in our industry, and I don't think there's too many other people doing it. Was there s- if there was any slight hesitancy about pulling the trigger and moving ahead with this when we were on that first call?
It was because, like I told you before, I've I- I've I've seen your advertisements on Instagram. I went to YouTube. I even watched, you got one on there that's like 6 hours long, and I watched maybe about 2 hours of it. And it was that last, it was that at that point I said, I think this guy is the real deal. Because I was, it's always a lot of online programs, and I'm very skeptical of spending money on them. And then once you get in, it's like, oh God, I just gave this guy, you know, this money. And now it's like, it's not really, I mean, the stuff he's teaching, I can figure out myself.
Mm.
So when I came across your program, I felt it after I watched the 2 hours of that 6 hour video on YouTube. I says, you know what? This is it. This is it. I says, and that's, I had no more skepticism. And I says, you know what? I'm all in.
Okay,
This is
man.
an investment. It would be, put it this way, Chris, not investing in your learning program, not investing in your controls program would be very expensive for me. Not investing in it. So in other words, because not having that knowledge, look at the revenue I would miss out on. So it becomes expensive not having.
That's a great way to look at it. What would you say? And I know it's difficult to say, but what would you say if you put a price on it? What would you put a price on that? Like missing out on this revenue that you're getting and where you're going to take the business?
At least I can just tell you the jobs I've had to pass up. It's well over 100 grand. I say about 125,000 I've had to walk away from. Um, so at that point, when I looked at the cost of what you charge versus what I've lost of or let slip through my fingers, I says, wait a minute, this is ass backwards. I gotta, so you know, I had to remedy that problem.
Right, so I see. So up until that point, before you went through the program, you'd had potential projects value around sort of over 100K that you had
Over
to
100 grand.
pass up because okay, yeah, I hear you, man.
Over 100 grand. Yeah, it was a store here, big supermarket here, and the controller had went. They was using this old COM controller that we used to use out in Vegas, and they don't make it anymore. So the the corporate, the back office, they asked me, said, "Hey, can you put in a Danfoss system? Because all the other racks, these mid temp and low temp refrigeration racks, that what I mean by racks are they like you may have a low temp rack that will completely control your low temp out, frozen meat, ice cream. So all these controls are up in the room, the motor room."
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I had to pass it up." That one job, that one job was worth $65,000. And I told him, no, I didn't tell him I didn't have the skill to do it. I just told him I couldn't do it. And they
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
so that was 65 grand that I
Mm,
that I lost.
yeah. So it's big numbers in this industry. If you got
Yeah.
the right, yeah, if you got the right skills, it's big numbers in project work.
Yes.
What would you say the program's helped you with the most, Howard? Like if you had to pick one or two things within the program, what would you pick?
Schematics.
Reading
Schematics,
them, designing them,
reading,
like
reading them, reading
reading
them,
them. Okay.
the engineering side of designing the panel. Uh, so designing and reading schematics is my two
Okay.
favorite.
Well, appreciate that. What would you say, like, if there's a business owner in a similar sort of industry to you watching this in the future, like, what would you say to them if they were considering, joining our program?
I would say don't make the same mistake I did. Don't hesitate. Actually make a competent decision, but it would be the best decision they would make for their business because this is a niche market. And like I said, I've never seen a program like this. Never. And I've taken engineering courses over at MIT.
Wow.
I am also a certified systems engineer. I have a mechanical engineering. I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and I went to MIT about 2 years ago. Took a systems engineering program because I was wanting to get. The reason why I took that program is because, okay, I want to be able to do these special control systems, right? They didn't deliver that. They taught the theory of operands, and what I mean by that is like if you want to build out an airplane, or you want to learn the operand on how a bridge was built. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was all good stuff, but I walked away from that course. I paid about $8,000, and it didn't deliver thing that I was looking for. And here's your course. Your course is a lot cheaper than that, and I'm getting everything that I didn't even expect.
That's really great to hear. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, mate. I must put my prices up.
Wealth of knowledge.
What would you say? So the key differences, like you talked about theoretical stuff at this MLT course, like what I'm interested to understand, like genuinely, like because I've never done an MIT course, like what are the real differences between that and what we do?
You've actually focused on the core of your program, actually focused on the core of controls. It doesn't, the MIT course, it gave you a very broad band of systems network and systems engineering, but you actually focus on, like, for instance, when you are describing, and I've always known how overload works in a contractor, but you broke it down on exactly how it should be wired. And then the way when you zoom in on a particular part of the schematic, right? And then you'll start highlighting the schematic. That is core concentration. So your course delivered core concentration versus a broad span of what MIT was teaching.
Right.
It's more personal.
Okay. And you've been able to apply that directly into your business?
Absolutely. I'm making money already. I've only been in your course 6-7 weeks, and I'm already making money.
Yeah. Now, if you're an engineer who wants to step into controls, or a business owner who wants to bring controls in-house like Howard's done, there's a link in the description to see how we might be able to help you. Now, this video is the edited cut. If you want the full unedited interview, it's on our Control System Specialist channel, link also in the description. And if you'd like to connect with Howard or follow Stealth Controls progress, his LinkedIn profile is also in the description. See you on the next video.